Landmark study shows one dose of psilocybin induces new neural connections.
Here's a summary of the article.
An extraordinary new study from a team of scientists at Yale University is reporting the first direct cellular demonstration of a single psilocybin dose inducing neural plasticity in a mammalian brain. The researchers show how the psychedelic prompts rapid growth of neural connections in the frontal cortex of mice and hypothesize this mechanism playing a role in the drug's antidepressant qualities. It was a real surprise to see such enduring changes from just one dose of psilocybin. These new connections may be the structural changes the brain uses to store new experiences. Alongside these structural changes, the researchers note functional and behavioral changes were also detected in the animals following the single psilocybin dose. The researchers do note ketanserin is known to only block around 30% of 5-HT2 receptors in rodents, so it is certainly possible the neural plasticity induced by psilocybin is still mediated through that pathway. The research is the first to directly demonstrate these specific structural neural changes induced by psilocybin in a mammal brain. Another very recent study looking at the effects of a single psilocybin dose in a pig brain saw similar signs of psychedelic-induced neural plasticity.
This post received a score of 8,500, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Time to get my dose of magic mushroom then.
Perhaps most interesting is the study's attempt to disassociate the structural brain changes caused by psilocybin from the drug's acute psychedelic effects. The researchers used a drug called ketanserin to block 5-HT2 receptors, the pathway by which many believe psychedelic drugs induce their acute, trippy, effects.
Whether the therapeutic actions of psychedelics can be separated from the acute effects is perhaps one of the biggest unanswered questions in psychedelic science. A lot more work will be necessary to understand exactly what is going on here, and the jury is certainly still out on whether these psychedelic drugs can generate therapeutic effects without generating an acute psychedelic experience. If it were true you can get long-term effects without the acute psychedelic experience, that would blow our minds of the mechanisms at play. I'm pretty skeptical that it would, but it would be really interesting if true.
Haven't studies been done on the long-term psychological benefits of microdosing psilocybin? My anecdotal experience has been that even without the intense trips associated with high doses, I have significantly less depression and anxiety, and the depressive episodes I do have are significantly less severe.
Matthew Johnson on the Huberman podcast that recently released seems to indicate that while effects might be seen at the microdes level, the effects are much less than with larger doses. I'm not too up to date on the literature regarding that though.
All Johns Hopkins tests on psilocybin were with a 5 grams dose. One single dose was enough to make a drastic change, and usually for the better.
Most doses were at 20 or 30 milligrams per 70 kilograms for the recent depression study. Edit, those doses are in pure psilocybin. Comparisons to dried mushrooms doses vary. For pQbensis I've seen, but not validated, estimates between 0.5% to 1% by weight. I.e. for 25 mg psilocybin somewhere between 2.5 grams to 5 grams dried depending on the strength of the mushroom.
That was until I was given several grams of penis envy recently. Won't go any further about the trip, but I am commenting more for the after. Since then I've had 2 more sessions, and these times I took less. I am all for more research on these types of psychedelics.
I took shrooms that were baked into some chocolate fudge. IDK what kind it was, but from hearing your experience mine may have been PE also. It wasn't super trippy visually, but I just felt overall elated. I spent my evening watching Coraline and falling asleep happy.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.